Hi, it's GramMoose. We're trying to find a book we haven't read yet. So I know why I haven't read this one. It's got 3 little stories in one. So we'll start with the first and then we'll follow it up with the other 2 and hopefully we'll be able to get it on here today. Ready? Snow Bunny Tales with Max and Ruby. You know the little bunnies? The first book is called Snowplow. How appropriate for the weather we're having, right? Max and Ruby went outside one morning. It had snowed and snowed all night long. Look, Max, the snow is so deep, said Ruby. Ruby jumped into the snow. She made a snow angel. Max made one too. Let's shovel a path so Grandma can visit, said Ruby. Snowplow, said Max. We don't have a snowplow, Max, said Ruby. Let's get snow shovels from the shed. Instead, inside the shed, Max hopped into his toy car. He tooted the horn. No, Max, said Ruby. We have to shovel a pathway for Grandma. But Max didn't want to shovel a path. He tossed snow in the air and his shovel landed on Ruby. That's not the way to shovel snow, said Ruby. She showed Max how to shovel. But Max tossed more snow at Ruby. Max, said Ruby. Car, said Max. No, Max, said Ruby. Your car won't work in the snow. The wheels won't turn. Ruby kept shoveling, but Max disappeared. Where's Max? Asked Ruby. Max was driving his toy car. Toot toot went the horn. Vroom vroom went Max. I know, Max, said Ruby, but we can make a snowplow. Ruby sat in front of Max's car. She held a snow shovel. Let's go, Max, said Ruby. Max and Ruby made a path through the snow all the way to Grandma's house. Look, it's a snowplow, said Grandma. That's the end of the first one. Snow Day, beginning of part 2. The snow was coming down very hard. Max and Ruby could not see anything but white outside the window. Outside, said Max. No, Max, said Ruby. It's too cold and the wind is blowing too hard. Today we'll play inside. It's called a snow day. Let's do finger painting, Max, said Ruby. We can make pretty pictures. Ruby went to find some paper, but Max had an idea. Max did not want to make pretty pictures. Instead, Max put paw prints all over the cupboard and the wall. Ruby saw Max's paw prints everywhere, but she didn't see Max. Max, where are you? Ruby called. Max was trying to sneak out the door. Outside, said Max. Inside, said Ruby. Ruby helped Max clean up. Now let's make some beautiful jewelry, Max, said Ruby. Ruby showed Max how to make a necklace. Then she went to find her special sparkly beads, but Max did not want to make jewelry. Instead, Max wrapped Ruby's string around everything. Max, what are you doing? Asked Ruby. Max opened the door. Outside, said Max. Inside, said Ruby as she untangled Max. Next, Max and Ruby went upstairs to play. Ruby brought out all her dollies, but Max did not want to play with them. Suddenly, the telephone rang. It was Louise. It stopped snowing, said Louise. come over and play. Come on, Max, said Ruby. Let's go outside. Meanwhile, Max had hung all of Ruby's dollies over the string. He pulled down on the string. What do you think's gonna happen? Bounce went the dollies. Inside, said Max. That's the end of book 2. Book 3, Rocket Run. Think we'll have time? Max, Ruby, and Louise were going sledding. The snow was deep and the air was crisp. They were all very excited. Are you ready to sled down Rocket Run? Ruby asked Louise. You bet, said Louise. Max couldn't wait to get to the hill. Faster, said Max. When they got there, everyone was zooming down Rocket Run. Wow, said Ruby to Louise. Faster, said Max. No, Max, said Ruby. Only big bunnies go down Rocket Run. You can go down Bunny Hill. It's for little bunnies like you, Max, said Ruby. But Max did not like Bunny Hill. It was small and slow. He wanted to go on Rocket Run instead. Faster, said Max. I'm a little scared of Rocket Run, Louise, said Ruby. Me too, said Louise. Meanwhile, Max saw Ruby and Louise sled. Max got in. He went to the very top of Rocket Run. Zoom! Down went Max. Ruby and Louise saw Max speed by. We better save Max before he gets hurt, said Ruby. Let's go, said Louise. Zoom went the girls down the hill. This is fun, said Ruby. I'm not scared anymore. Me neither, said Louise. Boom! Everybody crashed into a pile of snow at the bottom of Rocket Run. Faster, said Max. The end. Don't forget to brush your teeth. And remember, GramMoose loves you.